Yeah, now I'm gonna rant. All right.
Well, we had João from Brazil, my good friend. If you have, he has.
Oi, tudo
Oi,
bem?
tudo bem? What's going
Legal.
on, man?
Hey guys,
Pão
thank
com
you.
queijo,
Yes.
brigadeiro.
Well, it was very insightful. It made me think a lot, and it's very complex. I would just like to ask you, Rabbi, why you think the Jews nowadays are making the convert, like the conversion, so difficult. So
Kabbalah. The problem is Kabbalah.
it's Kabbalah, and you believe like in this something of like Jewish soul, even in the converts.
The notion of the Jewish soul is what has hurt converts the most. The notion that what makes you Jewish and special to God is not what you do or the beliefs that cause you to do good actions and emulate a good God, but what makes you Jewish and special to God is your neshama, your Yiddish neshama, your pintel yid, all this nonsense. So what they're saying is that whether you're religious or not, you're special because of your neshama, which is bullcrap. I mean, this doesn't appear like this in the Talmud. This doesn't appear like this in the Torah. This is only Kabbalah. Post the 13th century, but even the Kuzari speaks on this also. The Kuzari has a twisted notion that Jews are special intrinsically. I remember I had a debate with a rabbi, a Kabbalistic rabbi, and he was saying that if you have two babies on a table, even on that level, from that time, the Jewish baby is superior to the Gentile baby. Now, a rational person would assume, yes, Jews are superior because assuming the Jew is religious, he's superior because he has a relationship with God. He knows Torah. Clearly, the Torah is about making a distinction between holiness and unholiness, between proper obedience and disobedience, but not between blood and like holy blood or holy soul and a Gentile. And this is exactly what they teach. And if you ask your average Chabad rabbi, he won't deny it. Chelek Elokam mimal mamish. That's what it teaches in the second parak of the Tanya, that every Jew is a physical piece of God. Every Jew. And this whole notion that Gentiles and Noahides are special, I understand that Chabad believes this, but it doesn't appear like this in the Tanya. The Alter Rebbe didn't believe it, and he didn't write it anywhere. So the source material of Chabad didn't teach it. To be PC later on, the Lubavitcher Rebbe started the Noahide movement. They do believe and they teach, especially with the last Lubavitcher Rebbe was a big fan of the Rambam, and especially Hilchos Malachim, which deals with Mashiach, because there are big Mashiach things. And there, the Rambam writes, Hasidei Umot HaOlam, they get a chelik on Olam Haba, that the righteous of the nations get a portion of the world to come. So they incorporated it into their theology. But it's Kabbalah. Kabbalah separated the world not between Torah keepers and non-Torah keepers, but between people with Jewish blood versus those without Jewish blood. There's notions also in pre-Lurianic Kabbalah, the notion of Esav L'Sonei Yaakov, that Esav will always hate Jacob. And it says, halacha kavua, that this is an accepted understanding. It's that Gentiles will always hate Jews. It's a stupid statement because you're saying that the Gentiles are intrinsically impure and in some way irredeemable. And a Jew, no matter what he does, the Gentile is just going to want to kill him. So this understanding that every Gentile is a potential Nazi makes people want to make it hard for converts. Now, yes, they'll over-embellish the notion converts are beautiful, this and that, which I think only hurts converts. I think that we should just strive to be treated the same. I don't want to be over-embellished because when they meet a normal guy, right, because all these guys have never really met a convert, but they hear their rabbis rail on how great converts are, and then they meet you and they're like, you're a convert? I mean, you're not so impressive. You're probably not a real convert. Who converted you? And there it starts. So forget it. I don't want the embellishments. I just want to be treated normal. But because they think that every Gentile inside contains a potential Nazi, they really want to weed out true converts. Because as Kabbalah later teaches, converts are the sparks that fell away, i.e., you are deceased Jews. You are the reincarnation of dead Jews coming back into the fold, which really waters down Judaism because what they're teaching is that the only reason you'd want to be Jewish or be attracted to Torah to begin with is because you're genetically bound to. Not because it makes sense, not because you want to fight evil in this world, but because your blood is drawing you to. This is why the whole notion of the 10 lost tribes coming back, which, by the way, Rabbi Akiva in Parach Chelik was against it. It says that he says that they're not coming back for some reason, because the whole world has lost their freaking mind. They're going against Rabbi Akiva and siding with the other rabbis in the Talmud, teaching that they are coming back. You have to be a bigot to assume that the 10 lost tribes are coming back. I'll say it right now. You have to be a bigot. Why? Because you're first of all these little tribes that people claim are part of the 10 lost tribes, like the Pashtuns, they're Muslim. These guys don't even believe in Torah. Oh no, but God cares so much about blood that he's going to draw Muslims back and expect Jews nowadays, especially in Israel, to give them special treatment, allow them into Israel because they claim to have Jewish blood, but they don't believe crap about Torah. They don't believe in the God of Israel, and they're going to receive special treatment while you are going to be kicked out of a synagogue and called a goy. Okay? God is not a respecter of men. Their ancestors had the opportunity to do tshuva, and they failed, and they missed that opportunity. And now their descendants, if they want to come back into Judaism, are going to have to reconvert like everybody else. Now, clearly, if conversion took a day, it wouldn't be an issue. But nowadays, that conversion takes years. That's why they're like, how can we mistreat our brothers? They have Jewish blood. Jewish blood means crap. Jewish blood means nothing. According to Halakha, they're what's called kegoy, kekuti, like a Kuthian, like a Gentile, or equivalent to, because some people will say, oh, ke means like, but not fully. Bullcrap. Ke there means equivalent to a Gentile. If you believe that God is drawing the tribes back, you're saying that God is going to draw you to Torah just because of what your great-great-great-great-great-grandfather did, i.e. accept the Torah Mount Sinai. If you teach that, then you cannot be against the notion of Jesus dying for anyone's sins. Why? Because a Christian would say, I'm benefiting because of the sacrifice Jesus did for me way, way back then. I'm benefiting vicariously through Jesus. What are you, an idiot? What are you? No one could die for your sins. You're responsible for your own sins. Oh, no, but at the same time, you're going to say, I'm benefiting as a Jew for what my great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather did on Mount Sinai, even though I'm like 100 times detached. Oh, I'm benefiting because of that. So we could benefit vicariously because of that, but a Christian can't benefit vicariously for what Jesus did for him. It's a complete double standard. It doesn't matter about blood. The Torah doesn't even mention it. But the notion of karet, of being cut off, is a Torah principle that's never taught nowadays, by the way. That when they teach it, they'll twist it. They'll say, well, karet doesn't literally mean to be cut off. It literally means to be cut off. It says that you should be cut off from your people. If you do such, such, and such, you should be cut off from the Jewish people. When have you ever heard a Jew say that anyone gets cut off from the Jewish people? Once a Jew, always a Jew. Every Jew is responsible for themselves. Bullcrap. That means that religious Jews are responsible for other religious Jews. If you see a religious Jew who's going off the derech, it's your job to help them get on the derech, but not an atheist, not someone who fights against God, what Shulchan Aruch calls a mumar lechachis, like someone who actively fights against God, who is equivalent to a Gentile. But that's what they teach in Chabad. No, every Jew is a Jew. A Jew is a Jew is a Jew. It doesn't mean crap. First of all, a Jew, the word Jew hardly ever appears in Halakha. It's Israel. We should use the word Israel, not Jew, because it's very confusing.
I want to say thank you, Rabbi. It's getting kind of late for me.